3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. If you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-464-1806. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime on the Rice Sports Network. Stations, we're coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, mark. 1 minute stations, 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds stations. Have fun.
On the Rice Owls Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to the Rice Owls Basketball Show with Rob Lanier and Lindsay Edmonds. Now to lead things off, here's the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. Uno más tiempo. One more time here, the Rice Owls basketball show. We're at Mi Cocina in River Oaks. One final show here in this basketball season. Head coach Rob Lanier of our men's team coming up in seconds. We have Jordan Smith with the Rice women's team interviewing Lindsay Edmonds coming up in a bit. Strength coach Vinny Coludi coming up next to get us all buffed up and looking good, I'm sure, in just the short time he'll have us on. Really appreciate our friends here at Mi Cocina here this season. They also were great supporters during football season. They've got the skinny mambos, the sizzling fajitas. I think I went with the breakfast quesadillas today, Ryan. Is that correct? Is that what you got me for? Okay. Quesadillas, tacos, brisket tacos, a fusion of generations of family. Mi Cocina is more than just a restaurant. It's a celebration of tradition, community, and culinary excellence here in the River Oaks area. With head coach of our Rice Owls, Rob Lanier. How are you?
Good,
yeah.
Doing good. Yeah.
Quick turnaround.
Yes.
When the head hit the pillow last night, or did it after a tough loss, but then an early arrival, I'm sure?
I actually got a few hours in.
Okay.
Unlike most nights, I actually got some sleep last night.
Yeah. How tough is a game like that to put behind you? UTSA wins, and you were very pointed and very direct in your comments with me after the game, seems like just a few hours ago. Or is that an easier one to flush, like we were referencing yesterday?
Well, it's not easy. There's nothing about it that's easy. You make the decision to flush it because you're always trying to think, all right, what's in the current circumstance, what's the best thing for the team? And, my thought last night, my gut, was that the best thing for the team is to turn the page, and because we the one thing that we've done all year is we've shown a level of resilience. We have, and the goal for the season, regardless of what the byproducts were, was to change the tenor of the group and develop a situation where we have enough mettle and toughness that becomes what defines us. And I thought that we were making progress along that way, and even it was tested with all the disappointments along the way, with all these one-possession games and unique finishes that we found ourselves in, and the ability to have the resolve to come back and still play with a level of energy and connectedness, etc. And so there's a level of pride. And I said this, after the game, that 10 years from now, I'll look back and this will be one of my favorite groups to coach. Even though if you look at the record, that's not the group that you would pick. But when you're trying to build the foundation for a program, those relationships, that initial buy-in means a lot as a coach. So I feel that. And last night was the opposite of all of that progress that we had made just as a group. And we say this all the time. Every team has a one-season lifespan. Even if you have all the same players back, you never have the same team twice. So this moment, this team is only together now, and Thursday is our last regular season game together. And so I was disappointed more for them that in our final two games that this is the appreciation we show one another. That's how I felt about it. So it wasn't about the runs or the rebounding or the execution. It was all of those things that happened negatively were a byproduct of us playing like we were a little bit defeated. And we've never done that. We hadn't done that all year. And we decided to do that in the middle of a game in a way that we hadn't done all year. So that was disappointing. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt by turning the page. I think that's the best thing for the team. And the focus to be on the seniors for Thursday. I'm going to start those guys, and we're going to practice the next couple of days like it's about them. And so, and I hope that that'll recapture the fight and the energy and engagement that we've played with, so that we give ourselves a chance to finish it the right way for them and for our program, for themselves.
It was very tight against Memphis the whole way. I know it sounds like the company line, but it's so true, is watching every dribble and bucket of that game. They just pulled away that last 4 minutes. Did you see any kind of hangover, for lack of a better term, going from there after they were so close against one of the top teams?
No, because all of our games have been like that, regardless of opponent, But if you were going to pack it in, that would have been the night to do it. This great environment, top 20 team, and we didn't flinch. Until the end, and to their credit, they made the plays, but it wasn't a matter of us not showing up to the fight. Last night was just a little bit different. Now, maybe you definitely have to give UTSA a lot of credit, but they don't get credit for us not playing hard enough. They get credit for making the plays with the doors that we opened.
Discuss the big men a little bit. As the last few games, they've been a little bit more consistent, and they're improving as the season ends. Akuche had that strong second half against Memphis, and Caden Powell had a career high against Memphis, and some moments in the UTSA game as well for both of them. But just what have you seen as the bigs have gone towards the end of the year?
I would add Jimmy Oladipo to that as well. He had some great moments. He got a little excited the one time and tried to play the point one time, but but he was quick to apologize. He knew he got out of character there. But in general, and but again, I think it speaks to my earlier point that I think one of the areas, and Lindsay and I both talk about this, that we have to excel at Rice is getting our players better. Like, we have to be good at that. We have to be in the business of player development. And so it is pleasing as a coach when you see guys like Andrew and Caden and Jimmy and others, Jacob and many other players on the team improve as the season goes along. That's great.
How do you get Jacob back to where he was a few games ago? $1 million coaching question. We'd both be rich if we knew that answer, because the last few games, does it take that long for opponents to catch up on a scout like that? Because the effort seemed to be there for the most part. But
good players go through this. Trey came out to start the season, gangbusters. He's carrying us. He's getting 15 a game. 15 became 13. 13 became 12. Because teams start keying on you. You get into conference play and you got to play people twice. So, Jacob kind of burst onto the scene. I saw a nice little mixtape on Instagram of him, all these highlights. He became a guy that other teams felt like they had to focus on a little more. And what happens is you establish that you're someone that the opponent has to contend with, so they follow suit. And now from that place, you have to get better. Now you have to understand, what teams are doing to you, and you have to play the entire game. You can't play the game like you making or missing shots dictates your ability to impact winning and losing. So this is a great learning opportunity. The same opportunities are presenting themselves, but there's a little bit more resistance there, and then he's a good shot blocker. He can improve as a defender. He's got excellent rebounding instincts. He's had tip dunks and all of these things, but those things, he can still do those things even when the threes aren't going in and the dynamic plays aren't necessarily there. So I just think it's a part of his growth that, all right, here's what it looks like when you establish yourself as a force. And from that space, he will get better because he's really a worker.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Senior Day coming up, and you're going to start the seniors. I wanted to ask a specific question. I'm sure you've been asked 100,000 times, but now that coaching your son has almost come to an end, what's that meant to you? I imagine 4 or 5 years ago, you didn't think you'd be ending up at the same school at Rice together. Right. What's that all meant looking back for most of his career?
Yeah, it's been really cool. It can be there can be a little bit of anxiety with it because Emory's he's a great team player. He's a great teammate, and he brings a lot of those intangible things into a locker room and into a team, the hustle and the commitment. But they always say that it's always easier to coach your child if they're the best player or the worst player. Anything else in between can be complicated, and that's really. He's in that complicated space, and he's made it less complicated for me because of the respect that he's earned from his teammates. Mm-hmm. And so it went from being something that came with a level of anxiety to being one of the best experiences of my life, coaching or otherwise, because, it's funny, when M was a real little dude, when we were at University of Florida, it would be like Christmas break, and my wife would drop him off, and he would kind of like pigeon-toe walk into the building, and he'd be on the other side of the gym. And as soon as I see him, I would yell, "Big M!" And then he would be all shy, and but he'd be excited, and the guys would go pick him up and all of this. And right now when I see him, I feel the exact same way every time I see him, but I can't act like it. You know what I mean? Like I get the same feeling as a dad, even when he's across the gym, but I have to comport myself like he's just one of the guys, but just being in the gym with him. It's like my daughter. When my daughter's home, even if she's ignoring me and she's in the house, is just the best thing in the world. And so I've been blessed to have the experience for sure.
Coach Kreider told me before the season, off air, just kind of getting a feel for the team, he thought Emory could stay in the game. Do you see him, I guess that's a better question for him, but do you see him wanting to coach or get into some aspect of scouting, or what do you think he wants to do?
You know what? He's working at one of the pre-draft camps after the season. He's got another year left on his graduate degree. So I think he'd like to stay here and be around the team. And he actually said this in the Bahamas, because we're building some chemistry and the things, and he really does understand a lot of this stuff. He's got a great feel for, he can put himself in my shoes more than anyone else on the team from seeing things through a coaching lens. He's heard a lot of conversations. He's been at a lot of practices since he was a baby around some other really great coaches. So he's got another year, and he said to me in the Bahamas, like, wow, I love where this is going. And I want to be a part of it after this. I don't want to be watching this on TV because I think this team is going to do some great things. And hopefully he's right. So him staying and working on his degree is an option, but him pursuing opportunities in the NBA is in front of him. And if he gets one of those opportunities, it's so hard to get your foot in the door that he'd have to take an internship or anything. There's only 32 teams. So if someone's willing to give you a chance, and he'll be at the NBA Summer League, he'll be at the PIT as a worker. So if he gets some traction, that's the direction I think he wants to go in long term. He says, at least right now, that he has interest in being in NBA front office. So that would be really cool.
That's fascinating. The ball got in his blood, understandably. Tell us about Wichita State and Coach Mills, the Houston native, coming back home, so to speak. What have they done to improve so much? There's that stretch for 3-4 weeks, Coach. As you know, they're the hottest team in the league, and they've ascended up the standings. What's made the difference for them maturing?
Well, I don't know that much about their team right now. This will be our first time playing them. I haven't watched them much. I'll start doing that today. But I do know Paul. I know he's one heck of a coach. And the struggles that they had last year and part of this year, I think, are just a byproduct of building a new program. And but, there's certain guys that they're going to figure it out in due time, and he's one of those guys. But I don't know enough about their team to really give you an educated evaluation of what we're going to see on Thursday. So
we got Vinny coming up next segment, strength coach Vinny Coludi. Tell us something we may not know. I was telling Vinny, I'll just call you Vinny. He's been with you at different stops. What does he mean to the daily operation? Keeps us well fed, but I know it's more than that.
Yeah. You know what? I think prior to coming to Rice, it always been my contention that the two most important hires that you're going to make outside of your staff is the strength coach and whoever is your academic coordinator, because of the amount of time that they spend with your players away from the court. And I think the great ones, and I've been around some great strength coaches, I think the people who are great at that job, because anybody who gets one of those jobs at this level has to know the science. They know what it takes to get the body stronger and faster, et cetera. But not everybody has the people skills to connect with young people in such a way that they can get more out of them. So I think the great strength coaches know the science, but they also have the people skills to coach young people and get them out of their comfort zone and develop the trust. And I think Vinny is one of the best I've ever been around, because obviously he's brilliant when it comes to the science, but he's also even more brilliant when it comes to the relationships. So the guys really trust him. They don't want to let him down. And he's also a developing MMA fighter, so they don't cross the line with him. You know what I mean? I think he's undefeated so far. Is that right, Vinny? 3-1. Okay. 3-1. Right. So, but he's the best. And he was recommended to me by one of my very best friends. Joe Jones is the head coach at Boston University, and he and I are connected. We talk pretty much after every game, and when he recommended him, I knew he was good. And that's all I needed to hear. With Joe trust him, then I knew I would trust him. And he's just been an integral part of the program that we're trying to build. What we are trying to build, we wouldn't be able to without Vinny.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rob Lanier, head coach of our Rice Owls. It's Rice and Wichita State coming up Thursday at Tudor Fieldhouse. Mentioned Senior Day. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Vinny coming up next year at the Mi Cocina, the Rice Owls basketball show from Learfield.
Owl fans know where to stay when they come to Houston. The Courtyard by Marriott, Rice University, is their preferred choice. Whether cheering on the team or kicking off their Rice experience during O Week, just minutes from Rice Village and less than 2 miles to campus, we provide the right mix of convenience and accessibility. Coming in spring 2025, enjoy Michelin-starred dim sum excellence in our restaurant. Cheer for the Owls by raising a glass in the lounge and start the day right with breakfast in the bistro. Call 713-661-5669 to make a reservation, and be sure to ask for the Rice University rate. We look forward to welcoming you.
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer for those who don't follow trends but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. So don't just raise a glass, raise a flight by Yingling, official beer partner of Rice Athletics, and now available everywhere in Texas. The Yingling Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Please enjoy responsibly.
Football fans are passionate. just like John Deere fans. And if you're a John Deere person, the name to know is Shoppers. In football, it's about calling the right plays. The right call for John Deere equipment is Shoppers. Shoppers has the right size John Deere tractor with attachments for any job. You can build your tractor online with Shoppers' exclusive Build It, Price It, Own It tool. See all our John Deere specials by Googling Shoppers at SHOPPAS. It's time for you to make the right call. Shoppers, your John Deere tractor experts and proud sponsor of Rice Owl Athletics.
Cancer is never just cancer. It affects your entire body. At Houston Methodist Neal Cancer Center, we have the expertise to treat all of you. Leading oncologists use the latest technology, research, and treatments to stop your cancer, while specialists minimize its effects on major organs. There's a better approach to cancer care that heals all of you. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Welcome back to the Rice Owls basketball show. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Yes. I'll be on my best behavior here. It is Rice strength coach Vinny Coludi here. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Jordan Smith will don the headset with Coach Edmonds here. Our final edition at Mi Cocina. So you are Mr. Nutrition, all that. You got to love some good Tex-Mex, right? Being the Boston guy, you come Texas, you got to get the good Tex-Mex.
I've learned to love it, definitely. We have some decent Tex-Mex in Boston, but being in Texas has definitely opened my eyes to a different array of foods.
Discussing a bit your first year at Rice, how you are adjusting to a new campus and a lot of new players, but you've known Coach Lanier for a minute as he diagrammed in the latter stages of his talk, but it's always adjusting. But how's the first year treated you from your specific skill set and your job duties?
I mean, you can't ask to work for a better person, a better coach than Coach Lanier. He allows you to do your job, holds you accountable to make sure that you're staying on task. But it's been an interesting year. It's been fun with the guys. At the end of the day, they got to put forth the effort, and we've been able to build this chemistry, this environment that Coach is really keen on, and our family environment really allows for the trust in one another to make sure that we have these difficult conversations, because at the end of the day, these guys don't have a lot of time. It is a new era in basketball, so you're trying to maximize as much as you can in 1 year. And while we have not been bit by any type of transfer bug in the 5 years that I've been with them, you still want to make sure that the guys are getting the best experience possible. So, for me, it's just about trying to make sure that I approach every day with a level of professionalism and care. I think the one thing I learned really, really early on was no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So I think for our guys, it's making sure that they know that I want what's best for them in all aspects of life.
I don't want to pretend the big buff Boston guy always knew he was going to get into strength coaching. So what inspired you, or when did that flip get switched or switch get flipped that you knew you wanted to do this?
I actually went to college as wanted to do finance. I wanted to do financial analytics. I like numbers. And I had an internship with Merrill Lynch, did it for 2 summers, was offered a job when I graduated, and I hated it. I hated being in a suit and tie, going to work, not really being able to interact with people. And I was lucky enough to meet, I knew him, but I grew up with his younger sister. And he worked at this gym called Mike Ball Strength and Conditioning, which is one of the prolific gyms in the country. It's arguably one of the best gyms in Massachusetts. And he gave me a shot, not really knowing anything other than the basic knowledge that I had. A part of it was we all grew up in the same city, so he was kind of taking care of somebody who he knew was from the same neighborhood that he grew up in. And he kind of just made sure I put my head down and worked since then.
So how in the world does the segue, I know not taking your full-time attention, but get into MMA fighting, and what in the world can make you want to do that?
I guess I just missed the aspect of competing again. I have 2 daughters, 2 beautiful daughters, a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old, and I just needed something to compete again. And I guess some people get older and they want a nice new car, and for me it was like I needed something different, and a men's league wasn't going to do it. And with jiu-jitsu, it's a lot about teaching you composure, understanding that somebody who you're going against is trying to break your arm, trying to choke you out, trying to make you submit in a 5-minute round that's nonstop. So you gotta be able to remain calm and keep your composure. And I think that's helped me a lot in the last 8-9 months that I've been doing it, just with everything from being a father to being a husband to work to coming to work every day. Is you're always going to get thrown a bunch of obstacles, so you have to make sure that you keep a level head, because the people around you are counting you to make really sound decisions,
which has to help not just from the strength side on your day job, but dealing with the communication aspect, being calm with the players, right?
Definitely, because I mean, at the end of the day, they're 18 to 22-year-old young men. If we remember when we were that age, we weren't making the greatest decisions all the time. So having a little bit of life experience, and then having the staff that we have where everybody has, come from different backgrounds, and we're so close that it just allows you to be able to reach different resources and be able to help these guys.
Pound for pound, who's the strongest guy on the team, or somebody that may surprise us?
I'm going to have to say it's a toss-up between Jalen Smith, who you will learn to love once he steps on that court next year, and Denver Anglin. Those two guys, pound for pound. Denver is, in terms of stature, he's definitely, shorter. He's a 6-foot guy, but he is strong in every aspect. And Jalen is arguably one of the best athletes that I've ever worked with, and he's got some really good genes to back it up.
Yeah, Denver has the kind of sweet disposition, but I can see that edge in him.
Yeah.
He can get after you a bit, right?
He makes it easy. He likes the weight room, so it's not you never really have to pull him in too many directions. He's pretty focused when he gets in there.
Who would be the best MMA fighter on the team?
That's above my pay grade. I don't know about that one.
Okay. Tell us, as the season progresses, how does your job change with and I know this is direction from the boss man, but how you get with the guys in different routines and stretches and working them out as the grind of the season is kind of upon us, and then some.
It's a long year. I mean, college basketball, men or women's side, is the shortest off season of almost any sport. And again, with Coach, a lot of what we do, we try to play fast. We try to play very aggressive. So being in shape and being well-conditioned is a major piece for us, but we have to do it in a strategic way. So it's really starting in the summertime. We kind of take an even approach because, in our first year, you got to develop your culture, and Coach has to get his views in to make sure that, we're doing things in an aspect that he believes is going to help us win. And from a strength and conditioning standpoint, I got to complement that. I got to make sure that if he wants a guy to be, more explosive, faster, stronger, then that's what we're looking for, as opposed to guys that might be overly bigger but not as fast because of the style of play that we have. And then as we move towards that season, now that needle obviously shifts, right? It becomes more strategic. It becomes more skill set based. But we want to make sure that we're keeping the attributes that we've gained, because that's what's going to keep people durable, is making sure that we consistently stay strong. We touch some heavyweight every once in a while, but we have to be really proficient movers. And I tell all our guys whenever they come on their visits or whenever I meet them for the first time, like, you look at me and you think I'm going to lift you like a meathead. And for me, it's really about making sure that they're really good movers, and that, they're basketball players. We're not a strength and conditioning team. So it's trying to make sure that you give them the strength that is needed to play the sport of basketball, being able to move in multi-planers in an explosive manner, and then being well-conditioned and making sure that the attributes that we're working on really complement Coach's strategies.
How has the tech made your job easier? It's never easy, but it seems I see all these gadgets you all use that I haven't seen before, and it just seems like you're working them out in a way before the game. It seems like that evolution of things will always continue to improve, but does it make it easier, or just different metrics you're looking at? Or?
It definitely makes it more precise. I think now with the amount of technology, if you're not like I have a young assistant who's a phenomenal young man. His name's Elijah Mays. He's going to have a great career as a coach, but it's, for all these coaches coming up, like, you need to understand the technology, because it is pinpointing a lot of objective feedback. You still need subjective feeling. You can't just be completely on one side of the spectrum, but it just allows to make sure that you're putting the guys in the best position possible in terms of game shape, in terms of strength, being able to produce at high levels during on game day. So it just allows us to make sure that they're game ready and that we know where they're at on that spectrum.
Thank you so much for coming on. For what it's worth, I've known Alam a while, so maybe I'm biased, but I think when his playing days are over, he'd be a good tutor for you on the MMA side.
Yeah,
I think he's got that good spunk to him.
He's got a little bite to him, definitely, for sure.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it. Thank you so
Vinny
much.
Clutie here of a Rice Owls strength team. Stay tuned. Coming up next, Jordan Smith will don the headset. Coming up with Lindsay Edmonds. It's the Rice Owls basketball show from Mi Cocina.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Hey there, Houston. Are you ready to elevate your game on the court and behind the wheel? Rice University's basketball team is teaming up with Porsche River Oaks for an electrifying experience. Introducing the Porsche Macan EV. This isn't just any vehicle, it's your new MVP, most valuable Porsche. With its stunning design and exhilarating electric performance, the Macan EV will take your driving experience to championship levels. Whether you're dribbling through the city streets or venturing off the beaten path, the Macan EV adapts to your lifestyle like a pro. It's the perfect blend of agility and sophistication, just like our Owls on the hardwoods. And here's the best part. You're invited to exclusive test drive events. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Come see how the Macan EV handles every curb and corner like a champion. View Porsche River Oaks today and indulge in the luxury you deserve. But hurry, this electrifying opportunity won't last long. Get the game and elevate your driving experience. Porsche River Oaks, where luxury meets performance. Go Owls!
Rice teams and traditions are legendary. Our team as strategic wealth designers are proud to be a partner of Rice Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team the Owls trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Owls.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude, gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness or disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Help us get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact. All in, all together.
Bringing you more Rice Owls men's and women's basketball. Here's Jordan Smith and the voice of the Owls, JP Heat.
We welcome you back to Mi Cocina for more of the Rice Owls basketball show as we now transition to the women's side of things to talk some Rice Owl women's basketball. Now with Shelly Pennington and Friends head coach Lindsay Edmonds. Coach, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing all right.
Good.
All right. So a little chilly this morning, I would think, but
Yeah.
it's starting to warm up finally. So
Yeah. My daughter had a soccer game on Saturday, and it was so hot. And then a game on Sunday morning, and we just didn't look at the weather, and we were like an hour away, and I think we went into a different climate. I don't know, but we got there, and we were all freezing. So it was definitely a quick change of the weather this weekend.
welcome to Houston.
Yeah.
You know? So first, let's recap the last week of action. You had the big win at home against UAB last week to end the homestand. Talk about that matchup.
Yeah, I was really proud of our our mentality that game. I thought we came out with something to prove. I thought we played with the chip on the shoulder that we needed to have. I really liked our defensive intensity, which then translated to the offensive end. I liked the contributions and how it was spread out, and it felt like everyone came in and impacted the basketball game. And I just got a dominant win, one that we really, really needed to get.
Yeah, and we mentioned the rebound mark and what a huge margin that was, but I think something that maybe went a little under the radar in that ball game, the 16 for 19 from the free throw line for 84%, one of the better marks on the season. Talk about how that really impacted the ball game as well.
I think we just did a great job of getting ourselves there for the most part. There's been a lot of games where we haven't had those opportunities because we're not forcing the officials to make those calls. We're settling for jumpers, we're settling for threes, and we're not being as aggressive to the rim as we need to be. And it's hard to get to the free throw line when you're not doing those things. So I think we just had an aggressive mindset that game to put pressure on them, to attack them, to get into the paint and then play out of the paint versus just settling for the three like we did at their place. So I think that was part of the battle, was just getting there first, and then we had the right ones shooting them to get us the 16 for 19 or whatever it was that you said. So that was a big piece of it.
And then talking about last Friday, one of the longest road trips of the season, going out to Temple, out to Philly, a tough one there in the final road game of the regular season. Just thoughts about that one?
I don't know where the switch flipped for us. We started out, and I thought we started out the basketball game very well. I thought we had an answer mentality. They would score, we would score. You're going up and to halftime, you're up 5 on the road. You should be feeling pretty good about yourselves. You should be feeling pretty good about the first half product and come out and ready to make a punch. And you talked about it being 0-0. We talked about the 5-point lead not being enough. And it just kind of unraveled in the third quarter. And I don't fully understand how we allow those opportunities to just slip away from us. We were having a hard time defending one-on-one in our man, and they were going to the free throw line. It felt like every possession, so we switched it up to zone, and we lost the shooter in the zone. And then it's like, okay, go back to man. And so we gotta be tougher in those moments. We gotta be, so locked into the game plan that we're not fouling one-on-one defense, but we're also not losing the shooter when we get into the zone. So I feel like we just kind of unraveled and didn't have anyone step up and pull us together to be able to get the win on the road.
And despite the result, there were some strong performances from some players in that ballgame, including players like Anaya Alexis, Susie Ngolofak, Victoria Flores. Talk about their performances in the ballgame.
I'm so proud of Anaya. She has had just an incredible freshman year, really. You look at the things that she did in the non-conference, and then she finds her way into the starting lineup as a freshman, and then she just kind of takes off from there. We keep saying she's a sponge, but it's so incredibly true. Everything that we show her in film, she goes out and applies it. She doesn't just get through film. She truly learns from it. She wants all the coaching. She sees the film with me and with the team, but then she's still doing one-on-one film with Coach Nick too. And so I think she's just incredibly tough, and she wants to get better. She wants to be in the gym. She's aggressive. She just doesn't look like nor play like a freshman. And she was everything that we needed in the first half. Unfortunately, she got some foul calls that didn't go her way, and she was in foul trouble. And maybe that could have looked different if she doesn't pick up her third quick in the third. Maybe we have a better offensive output in the third, and maybe the game looks different because she was very aggressive, and it didn't feel like Temple had an answer for her. So that was very promising to see. Susie was dominant on the inside. When we need to get her more touches, and some of that comes with cleaning up our passing to her and understanding angles of how to get her the ball and where to get her the ball. We're still making bounce passes to a 6'4" kid who's holding her hand high, and we're making bounce passes. It's not the right read, and that's not on Susie. That's on our guards to clean that up. And so if we can get her more touches, she's normally pretty good at putting the ball in the basket.
Now, something that we've discussed plenty of times this season, but there's something that has been a constant for this team this season. Top 20 in the nation in rebounds this season. What has worked so well when it comes to getting those opportunities on the glass?
We work on it every single day. It's something that we do in pre-practice every single day. It's on our game plan. It's on our keys to winning every single game. They hear it all the time, and so they may be tired of hearing it, but it's incredibly important. But I also think it comes down to we're playing players that are capable of rebounding. Susie's capable of rebounding. Malia's obviously great. She's elite at rebounding. Anaya is very good at rebounding. Dominique is showing what she can do on the rebounding efforts as well. And so when you have 4 players like that, and then you throw in a Haley Adams who's going to almost get you, 10 every single night, we're just very good at that, and we understand the importance of it. But we have the players that can go into it.
And then every once in a while you even have players like, for example, Vic, who grabbed 6 rebounds in the game against Temple. So you kind of have those sporadic, just random spurts of, oh, hey, let me go grab a lot of rebounds right quick.
The point guard should be able to fly in there if they have a mentality of going and getting, because everyone else is boxing out. Typically, a point guard's not crashing. So if everybody else is boxing out and you just go, you should be able to clean up and grab a few every single game because you're not battling and having to box out. You're just flying in there and going getting.
Now, taking a look at this upcoming matchup against North Texas, how has practice and prep been heading into this ball game tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think yesterday we had a great practice. We got after it a little bit because we were able to have Saturday off, and so they were able to rest their bodies a little bit. So got after it yesterday. We anticipate it being a very physical game. We know that they want to turn the pressure up defensively. They want to rebound the basketball as well. So we got to make sure that we're really good about our tempo and our pace on the offensive end. We got to be sure about all of our passes because they'll play pass-in lanes. They'll deny. They're going to hawk and hound our point guards. So we got to make sure we have some abilities to free them up and make it not be so hard. But we got to be tough. We got to be tough and be able to protect home because we know that the heat from them is coming.
Yeah, and of course everybody trying to finalize their spots, getting ready for this weekend. What's kind of the early outlook for this matchup against North Texas, a team you've already faced on the road this season out the Super Pit?
Yeah, we got to win the rebounding battle. We got to take care of the basketball. I feel like a broken record, but that's really where I know that the 2 areas we have to clean up, we have to continue to do. I think at their place, we did a tremendous job on the boards, and we had, I think, 17 boards for like 22 second chance points. So that was great. We held them, I think, to 11 offensive rebounds, but it only converted to 8 second chance points. But we had the 21 turnovers that led to 17 points, and we fouled them a lot. So they shot 16 free throws in the fourth quarter. So those are things that I know we're capable of cleaning up. We just got to go and we got to do it. We got to show our hands defensively, not have last-minute swipe down so that they're not getting to the free throw line. And we got to bring the same effort on the rebounding boards, but we got to also take care of the basketball so that they're not getting the easy transition points.
And obviously you still have this final game left, but conference tournament right around the corner. We won't get a chance to talk about it again because this is the season finale of the Rice Owl Basketball Show, but just what's the message to the players and to everybody on the team as you start to get ready for that conference tournament coming up this weekend?
At the beginning of the season, we talk about 3 seasons, non-conference being the first, conference being the second, and conference tournament being the third. And so when Tuesday night wraps up, everyone goes back to 0-0. And you may have a small number beside your name, but everybody's got a chance, and the wins and the losses prior to conference tournament no longer matter. And so it's going to be a mentality of what do we bring with us to Fort Worth, what team shows up offensively, what team shows up defensively. We've been here before, we've had success in this before, but we're also not going to sneak up on anyone this year, and everyone's going to try to make sure that we don't have a magical run again. And so that's where we have to be even more mentally and physically tough. And lean on one another and really just have all 14 show up playing their best basketball, and we're going to need 4 days of it again. And so I'm excited for the new season. I'm excited for a fresh start. I'm excited for everyone to feel like, it's win or go home. And so you got to get up for that. And if you don't get up for that, then that's a bigger problem. But you got to get up for knowing that this is the last time that you're putting on that Rice jersey for the season or maybe for your career. And so I hope everybody is excited for the opportunity to keep playing basketball.
Well, Coach, we're actually going to have you hang tight and join us in the next segment and talk more about the season in general and everything else. So when we come back, more of head coach Lindsay Edmonds talking about your Rice Owl women's basketball squad. Live from Mi Cocina, it's the Rice Owls Basketball Show from Learfield.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
At True Anomaly Brewing, our greatest achievement lives in knowing that everything we've learned is yours to enjoy. While it may not be rocket science, we brew with the same detail and dedication learned while running mission operations for NASA. Taking risks is part of our DNA. We don't take them just to say we did, we take them because of the result. Bold brews we're proud to share with fellow adventure seekers. True Anomaly Brewing, beer for the explorers.
Big trip on the horizon? Before you depart, you gotta park. The Parking Spot is a simpler, easier way to navigate airport parking, and you can save when you book online. You're guaranteed a spot, and we even pick you up at your trunk in our yellow and black spotted shuttles and take you straight to the terminal. Parking and saving come full circle at the Parking Spot. The Parking Spot, proud sponsor of Rice University. Visit theparkingspot.com to reserve your spot today.
North Star Pressure Washing is a full-service pressure washing company able to provide any type of exterior cleaning to your property, whether you're a small business looking to improve your appearance for your customers or you're a property owner looking to add curb appeal to your home. In addition to improving your property's appearance, our services will also protect your property from the damage mildew, algae, and other airborne contaminants can cause, thus extending the life of your home or property. Remember North Star Pressure Washing for all your pressure washing needs. Big or small, our company does it all.
Bringing you more Rice Owls men's and women's basketball. Here's Jordan Smith and the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
We welcome you back to Mi Cocina for more of the Rice Owls basketball show as we continue on with the head coach of your Rice Owls women's basketball squad in Lindsay Edmonds. Coach, let's take a look at the season as a whole. And first we'll start with diving into some individual players and what you've seen from the growth from them this season, personally, on the court, whatever. I'll just start listing off a few players and you just kind of give a breakdown. So we'll start with Dominique Ennis.
I think Dominique has had an incredible year. I feel like the growth in her game has been tremendous, and most of that is like the mental side of the game and the aggressive mindset that she's had this year. We've been challenging her from last year to this year of being more aggressive, looking for your shot more, impacting the game in other ways, knowing that she's capable on the defensive end of guarding one of the team's, better players and being able to help us in that. And so I think that stretch that she's put together where she was getting, she had 3 back-to-back double-doubles, it just shows that her mindset is getting to where we need it to get to. And I understand that that's a lot of pressure to be able to show up like that every single night. But it's really what this team needs. And Dominique's very capable of doing that every night, too.
Next player, let's look at Victoria Flores.
Vic has really just flourished this year, starting the first conference game for us, after not playing her freshman year very much at TCU, I knew it was going to be a little bit of a learning curve for her, but then she starts out that game and scores, 23, 24 points. And I'm like, okay, she's going to be very good for us, and she's going to learn on the fly, and there's going to be some ups and downs with going from a 3-year starter at the point guard spot to someone who's essentially a freshman. But I knew that she was going to be better for it. I knew that we were going to be better for it. And just her growth and seeing her become the player that I knew that she could be for us has been a lot of fun. Seeing her get her love for the game and her confidence back after her first season not going the way she anticipated it going at TCU has been a joy. She brings a lot of joy into our program. She's funny and just always makes you laugh. But that she's an extension of me too. I mean, I don't have to ask her to come over and talk to me during the game. Early on in the season, it was me saying, hey, how about we run this? Now she's coming to me and saying, hey, can we run this play? I think we can get a look for Dom, or I think we can get a look for Sue. And I'm like, okay, cool, run with it. So that's really what you want with your point guards.
Now, another one of the newer players on the squad, you already touched on her a little bit here this afternoon. Talk about Anaya Alexis.
Again, she's just an incredible sponge. She's very, very talented, but she wants to work and get better, and I think that's shown. She started out, the season out straight out the gates. Every time she came in, she would impact the game in some way. And then maybe you could say she had a little bit of a freshman, lull where she wasn't impacting the game the same way. But she got herself out of that, and she found her way back into the starting lineup, and she's impacted every single game in a major way. And I know there's a really, really bright future ahead of Anaya, and I'm really glad it's in a Rice Owls uniform.
Now let's look at some more of the veteran players, starting with some of the seniors and Susie and Gulafak.
Yeah, Suze has the ability to impact the basketball game in so many ways. Even when Susie is not scoring, every team and every defense has to game plan for her. They have to think about her. They have to worry about her. And so even if we can't get the ball inside because they're sitting, two people down there on her, that's also freeing up other players. And while, we want her scoring more, it's also freeing up shots for Dominique. It's freeing up driving lanes for Anaya. It's freeing up Vic off of pick-on-balls because they're worried about Sue on the roll. So she's, very efficient when we get her the ball. I wish we could get her the ball more, but it's definitely a game plan that everybody has to make sure she doesn't get that ball. But she's an anchor to us, and she's one of our most vocal leaders on the floor. And so we need her every single game to be out there and be who she's capable of being.
Now, one of the players who's really climbing into one of the all-time best at her position, Malia Fisher.
Yeah, Malia is just incredibly talented. She has the ability to fill up a stat sheet each and every night. And, the wins that we've had in my tenure wouldn't have happened without, Malia Fisher being here. She is going to go down as one of the greats to ever wear a Rice jersey. I know she's, looking at being at top 10 in several different categories. If we can continue to play, I like her chances and getting into all of those that she's knocking down the door at. And so I think that's incredible. She'll be another one that, as soon as she graduates, I'm ready to put her up on the wall. It wasn't a month after Destiny left us that it was like, all right, she needs to be up on the wall. Malia will be the exact same way because, again, just what she's done for the program and done for our wins and her ability to be in the record books in several different categories is very, very impressive.
Definitely a player who has been a vocal leader on this team, the one I'm talking about next, and a player who stepped up into that backup point guard role really nicely in Trinity Gooden.
Yeah, again, Trin just, she has that competitive fire that she will do whatever it takes for the team. And she wants to do it, and she wants to do it for her teammates, and she wants to do it for me, and I believe that she would try to run through a wall if I asked her to. And so backup point guard is not her natural position, but she's like, okay, I'll do it. And she has a lot of confidence in herself right now, and she can steady us and keep us calm when we need it. But she's talking in every single huddle, whether she's playing or not. If Vic's playing 36 minutes and Trent only got 4 that game, she's talking in every huddle and making sure that everyone's on the right page, everyone's on the same page, everyone's lifted that needs to be lifted. Again, she's another one that it's not for the points and the rebounding and the scoring for the wins and losses that we've had, but she's held us together for 4 years. She's truly been our glue, and we don't have the wins without Trent.
And then finally, a player who really jumped out of the gates, really getting to a top level, Haley Adams. Talk about her in just her 3rd season.
Her improvement has been incredible. She does everything that Haley does. She does it at 110%. If she's in the classroom, she is competing in the classroom at 110%. If she's in practice, she's giving you her all. If she's in during the game, she is giving you her all. You never have to question whether Haley has more in the tank, because I think she truly empties out the tank in everything that she does. She's a competitor. She wants to win. She fills up the stat sheet from rebounding to scoring to assists to blocks to steals. She fills it up, and I keep thinking she's going to get herself a triple-double one of these days with assists and rebounds and points because she sees the floor that well and is definitely one of our better passers. And so her versatility, her ability to guard a guard, but also guard a 4. But, hey, now, Haley, I need you to go guard the 5. And she never bats an eye. She's like, okay, I got you, coach, and she'll do it. So she's really, really tough and love having Haley on the floor.
What improvements or progress from your team's play has really stood out to you as the season has progressed?
With the exception of this last game, I thought we were trending in the right direction, of getting closer to playing a 40-minute ball game. Obviously, we were trending in the right direction with our rebounding. Our scoring efficiency had gotten better. Our shooting had gotten better. Turnovers I still would love to see, obviously, clean up. But I thought, everything was we weren't peaking, but we were showing progress in all of those areas. And then, like I said, it just kind of unraveled at Temple game. And, credit to Temple. They're a great team. They have great players. I'm not sure that they're 20 points better than us, but they were that night. And so we got to find a way to, again, just steal 40 minutes of basketball because that's how long the game is, and play our best basketball now because, like I said, it's do or die at this point.
Share with me a story of a moment or a game or just anything in general that really showed the resiliency and the determination from this squad.
I mean, I think the South Florida game probably sticks out the most from this season and this team of things didn't always go our way, but we found a way to answer every single time that we needed to answer, except the very end in the quadruple overtime loss on the road. But, you give yourself a chance in regulation. You give yourself a chance at the end of the first overtime. You give yourself a chance at the end of the second overtime, and then we fell short in the third overtime. But we had answer mentality. The huddles were incredible. The energy was great. It felt like that team that night was the closest that I have felt since conference tournament mentality from last season. And we just didn't have that consistently. If we had that consistently every single night, our record would look a lot different.
What's some or even maybe the most positive change that you've seen with the women's basketball program since you've taken over?
I mean, the program was doing well before I got here. Tina had won a lot of basketball games. She had won a championship. She won a WNIT championship. I think the thing that was the hardest for me, we took over a program that you thought was returning 4 starters, and the portal hit, and then you only have 1 starter, and you're looking at starting the season with 9 players, and then okay, I got to go get 1 in the portal just to get us to 10. And so I think while it wasn't a rebuild, it became a rebuild very quickly. And so I think, finding a way to have a winning season that first year was a testament to how bad those kids that were remaining wanted to prove that they belonged here and that they could compete and that they could win. It's a testament to my staff to help us get to a winning season because I think the cards were definitely stacked against us in a lot of ways. And then we build off of that the next season. We become 23-9 and 23-7, 23-9.
Great either way.
But second most wins in program history. And so that was an incredible jump. And then you go into year 3 and you win the American Championship in our first season. So again, I like what we've been able to build. I like what these players have been able to help us do. I like the determination. We've shown that we can do some really, really special things when we're consistent. Again, there's no way to sugarcoat really the disappointment of the wins and the losses this season, but this team, they show up every single day. After a loss like that on the road and the long travel and a day off, practice was really good yesterday, and I couldn't have asked for a better practice probably after having all those things happen, right? And so, I know that they want to I know that they want to win. I know that they want to compete. I know that they want to prove that we're better than our record shows. And now's the time to do it. So again, I hope we can continue doing special things because they are a special group. And I wish that, I just want to keep playing for these seniors. I don't want it to end for them. I want to keep playing. I want to keep proving to people that we've underperformed, but we're still very, very talented. And that we can show up and we can compete with anybody. Because I do feel that. I do know that. We got to go out there and do it.
And finally, you may have just touched on it there at the end of that answer, but what's the aspect of the team culture that you're most proud of?
I mean, it's family, first and foremost. I think everybody in the locker room truly loves one another, truly has one another's back. And it's not about the name on the back of the jersey. It's about the name on the front of the jersey. I do believe that with my whole heart. I think that they're incredible people. I think that they show up and they're ready to do the next right thing. Yeah, Temple didn't go the way we wanted, but practice yesterday was the next right thing, and to have a great practice, and they showed up and they did that. And so now the next right thing is to protect home and take care of business on Tuesday, and I know that that's their mindset. But it all starts with family. It all starts with that love and trust that we have built off the court so that it can translate onto the court. And so I know we're judged by wins and losses, but the development of young women and empowering young women to be ready for life outside of basketball and outside of, Rice is really, really important to me. And the relationships I'll hold on to forever.
Well, Coach, again, appreciate your time today and all season long for coming on here to Mi Cocina and talking some more Rice Howell women's basketball with us. Best of luck tomorrow and at the conference tournament.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coming up after this, we will have JP come back in the chair. We'll talk season finales for both the men's and women's and get you ready for the conference tournament. It's a Rice Howell basketball show live from Mi Cocina from Learfield.
You ready for the big game? Fuel up for game day at Salad & Go. Whether you're tailgating, playing in the game, or cheering from home, make sure you've got your game day greens. From fresh salads to hearty wraps and refreshing drinks, Salad & Go has what you need to fill up and feel great. Score big with game day greens from Salad & Go. It's just what you need to win the day. Find a drive-thru near you at saladandgo.com or order online at saladandgo.com.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Owl fans know where to stay when they come to Houston. The Courtyard by Marriott, Rice University, is their preferred choice. Whether cheering on the team or kicking off their Rice experience during O Week, just minutes from Rice Village and less than 2 miles to campus, we provide the right mix of convenience and accessibility. Coming in spring 2025, enjoy Michelin-starred dim sum excellence in our restaurant. Cheer for the Owls by raising a glass in the lounge and start the day right with breakfast in the bistro. Call 713-661-5669 to make a reservation and be sure to ask for the Rice University rate. We look forward to welcoming you.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Rice teams and traditions are legendary. Our team as strategic wealth designers are proud to be a partner of Rice Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team the Owls Trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Owls.
Bringing you more Rice Owls men's and women's basketball. Here's Jordan Smith and the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
How's he get top billing? Come on, man. What are we doing here? No, I guess I just noticed this here. Final segment, final show. Just want to extend the gratitude to, obviously, Lindsay Edmonds and Rob Lanier for making time as we change this to a lunchtime show, and their staffs. Thanks to Darylyn on the women's side and Jeff on the men's side. And thank you to everybody that's come out. Ryan, unsung hero. You the real MVP. Thanks to Walter here, and back at the studio, Talik. Jordan, you have just almost completed your first full season.
Right.
So congrats on that.
Thank you.
We kind of shoved you into the fire last season, but
it was a great time to jump in.
Yeah,
it really was. But yeah, like you said, almost done, not done yet. We've got the game tomorrow night against North Texas. Should be a great all-Texas showdown. Of course, you can get your tickets right now, riceowls.com, 7 p.m. tip. And then right after that, we head on over to Fort Worth and go play a little b-ball at Dickey's.
The town of the cow. Suited the Owls well last year. And stay tuned. Got Jordan tomorrow night, and I'll be Mike's side coming up Thursday. We also do have a great tribute, want to make note of, on the baseball side of things for Wayne Graham Day coming up on Friday. Coach that meant a lot to me, and Rice coaching legend that passed away in September. So I probably don't have to tell you who Wayne Graham was, but going to pay great honor to him coming up Friday, 3/7/437, Wayne Graham Day coming up on Friday. Appreciate you, Jordan.
Absolutely.
Talk to you, Mike's side. That's Jordan. Thanks to Walter, everybody. Thanks for coming out. This has been the Rice Owls Basketball Show at Mi Cocina from Learfield.
On the Rice Owls Sports Network from Learfield, you've been listening to the Rice Owls Basketball Show with Rob Lanier and Lindsay Edmonds. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Rice Owls Sports Network.